Hey guys, I would love to share a really powerful breakthrough experience that I had last night. I was just laying in bed, really struggling with these sensations. It's like this burning sensation, this tightness, and I just noticed how I was in such deep resistance to what I was feeling. And I remember just having this really honest moment with myself where I went into deep inquiry and I asked myself, like, what is this all about? What is this feeling that keeps arising within my being, whether I'm in Quebec or at home or a haunted Airbnb or in this adobe here near Zion National Park? And it goes back beyond that. I just asked myself, like, what is this feeling that continually arises within my being? And I recognized in that moment that it was fear, and that no matter where I'm at, life, regardless of the environment I'm in, life is just trying to poke at this fear in my body. Life is doing whatever it can to show me the fear that still dwells within me. And in that moment when I just recognized, like, oh yeah, life, and it was kind of this Michael Singer teaching that came through. I could hear his voice, like, life is always just trying to poke your stuff. And that's why we don't like being certain places and being around certain people, is because those places and people will just kind of poke at our stuff. And his perspective is always like, it's not about the external, it's about the stuff that's in you. And if that stuff wasn't in you, then life wouldn't be able to poke at you in those ways. And so Michael Singer's teachings, which came through to me last night, is always about using life as this opportunity to release the stuff that's in you, the fear primarily, and maybe some anger and all of that. And that's what I recognized last night so deeply. I was like, oh yeah, no matter where I am, life is just trying to help me release this fear in my body. Because that was the feeling. It's like the same sort of flavor of feeling over and over again. Lots of fear, and then like this clench to it, this fear of the fear. This part of me that's just in so much resistance to the fear within me. And I could just feel it creating that same type of sensation over and over and over again. And so last night, thanks to like a Michael Singer teaching that came through, I recognized, okay, this is just life, helping me empty out my conduit, helping me liberate from fear. And, during that, basically the entire day yesterday, I was really trying to transcend the fear in my body. I was trying to transcend the feelings, the uncomfortable feelings that I was in resistance to, through meditation. And depending on how good of a meditator you are, that can sort of work for a while. And it kind of was. Because I'm an okay meditator. And so yeah, that was my approach. And after, quite a while, it's just like I wasn't able to transcend the feelings anymore. They just had gotten too big. And that's when I really started going into deep inquiry about, like, what is this? What is this inner state that seems to follow me? No matter what the heck's going on out here, it's like this inner state is where I eventually land. And in that moment, I finally surrendered trying to transcend the feelings. And I just saw it for what it was. I just thought, oh my gosh, there's so much fear in here. And last night it was really in the heart center. And I just, in that instant, there was this like space where I became okay with being afraid. to where the resistance just dropped. And I just felt this deep okayness with, I guess I'll just be afraid. No matter where I am, I guess I'm just going to be afraid. And in that way, there just became this inner acceptance to the fear. And I remember I just started breathing in love to the fear. And when I was exhaling, I was just telling the fear, you're okay, or that you're safe. And I just was finally at peace with being afraid. And not long after, I felt this layer of fear it was just gone. And I think I had like 3 or 5 minutes where I just was feeling no fear at all. And there was just this deep knowing of like, oh, I'm totally okay. I have nothing to be afraid of. I felt really free. I felt like, oh, this is myself. This is who I really am without this fear here. And then about 5 minutes later, when I was going to lay down, I felt a surge of terror come through my belly. And so there's like, oh, here's another layer of fear in the belly. And that's what I've been being with all last night and this morning. But it was really profound for me to have that, whatever, maybe it was 10 minutes or 15 minutes, just to have that space of time where I was, not seeing life through the filter of so much fear, where I was seeing life clearly for what it was. And it was just this breakthrough where I was like, oh my gosh, I've been in fear for so long. And then I recognized, wow, 90 whatever % of the world is in this state. They're just in this state of fear, of hypervigilance, of something's going to get me. And I recognized how many of my motivations have come from fear. And I just looked around at the world in a sense too. And I was like, oh my gosh, this world is being run by fear. And the revelation was so beautiful where I was just breathing into the fear, accepting it, holding it, and feeling it dissolve. That revelation was so beautiful because it gave me this momentary experience of being alive with basically no fear. And then I recognized this is the truth. This is the truth. And so when the fear came surging up out of from my belly again last night, I recognized, okay, this is just a layer of terror. This is just a layer of unconscious fear energy. And so because I had that, that space where there was no fear, it's easier for me now, I feel, to not get all identified with the fear, to not start believing its thoughts. Because when we're in fear, we're going to have all kinds of fearful thoughts flowing through, and it can be very difficult not to get really identified with those thoughts. Because those fear thoughts, once fear takes the form of a thought, it's very convincing. And I know my fear in the past has convinced me of all kinds of things. But just having that breakthrough last night and feeling very free of fear for that period of time, I can sense how I don't feel that my fear will be as convincing going forward. Because sometimes we're in fear and we don't even know it. We don't, like last night, I didn't actually know the deepest truth. Like, I'm just afraid. Like, and it's not even on a conscious level. It's like, there's just this unconscious fear energy in me. And sometimes we're just so used to it. It's just such a normal state that we don't even recognize it. We don't even know, like, oh, I'm just living through the lens of fear. I'm just moving with the motivations of fear. It was just so revelatory to me last night, like how frequently I've been in fear and have just attributed it to something else, like, oh, this needs to change. I got to fix this. And last night it was just like so simple because I just felt like such a deep honesty with myself. I was just like, what is true here? Like this deep inquiry. And it just became so true to me, like, oh my gosh, this has just been fear the whole time. And life has only been, through wherever it's taking me, through whatever experiences I'm going through, it's only been just trying to poke at me to get me to see it and to release it. So yeah, that was my experience last night that I really wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, I'm back in the fear in a sense. Like another layer has come up, and I'm noticing like the world seems more fearful again. But there's this deeper recognition and awareness that knows it's just because I'm seeing through the fear's eyes right now. It's just because there's fear in my body. But in the deepest way, like I'm completely safe, and we're all completely safe, and we're all okay. And that's another thing Michael Singer says is we're all trying to just make things out here in such a way that we can be okay. But the deepest truth is we're always okay. We're always okay. And the fear will convince us otherwise. It certainly will. That's what fear is meant to do. It's meant to tell us, hey, there's a tiger there. You're not okay. Like, you know? In that way, it works really good. But when that fear is activated and we're just sitting in a lovely adobe near Zion National Park, well, then we can start to discover the deeper truth. That, wow, there's just fear energy in my body that wants to be liberated, that wants to come home to the light. And we don't have to believe it. We don't have to become identified with it. We can just hold this loving space of presence for it, this accepting presence, this compassionate presence that's like, hey, yeah, you're okay to be here, fear. It's okay that you're afraid. I get it. And I'm just going to breathe love into you and exhale like it's okay. And yeah, that's what I went through last night. I wanted to share that story just to hopefully maybe inspire you guys, bring some clarity to the fear that you're going through. Because I know it's out there. I know a lot of fear is coming up. And I don't even want to say it's out there, but I know like the experience of fear is very much in the collective right now. So yeah, just do your best to be there for your fear in a gentle, loving way, to be in acceptance of it, and to know it's not the ultimate truth, and that you are completely safe in this moment. Yeah. All right, sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for your donations. They really help support this work, and they truly mean a lot to me. Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for that, for all of your support, just being here, liking the videos, sharing them. That also is just so supportive, and just your presence. I'm just honored to be walking this path with you all. Yeah. All right, until next video, may peace be with you. Namaste.